so much for being here with me. So I've gotten this question a lot in the past, but I feel like I've gotten it even more recently, and maybe one of the reasons why is I've posted a handful of befores and afters from clients that we work with. One of them, actually I'll see if my video guy can cut it in right here. Janie, here she is. And then also I posted a handful of my own competition photos and my competition video, which I think triggered a lot of questions because the questions are on those particular posts. People wanting to know, how can I lose weight? How can I continue losing weight if I have weight to lose? Say I have 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, while also simultaneously gaining muscle mass. Now, I think before we go too far, we need to understand that those things right there, losing weight and gaining muscle mass, are two very different journeys. Both journeys, what they do have in common is they both require a few things. They require sufficient protein, both of them. You must be eating enough protein. They also both require consistent training. When you're trying to build muscle, it requires really consistent and diligent resistance training or heavy loading to the muscle or hypertrophy training. When you're losing weight, you want to make sure you're moving enough. You're doing some resistance training and you're also doing your accelerators or your cardio for the time prescribed. Those are two things. The third thing that they both require an immense amount of patience. So much patience. You guys have to remember, your body changes in slow motion. So you're not gonna start eating enough calories and see muscle gain all of a sudden. You're not gonna start eating few enough calories and see weight loss all of a sudden. If you want muscle mass gains that last a long time and you want weight loss that lasts forever, it requires patience, it requires consistency, it requires something we call, and I talk about a lot, trusting the process, because both of them are very scary. When you're focusing on building muscle, naturally, it is so terrifying to eat at the calorie surplus that you need to eat at, because that muscle gain process does require you eat at a calorie surplus. Now, you can eat at an excessive surplus, you can eat high, and your muscle gains are going to happen faster. But when you eat at an excessive or a really aggressive calorie surplus, that layer of fat is also gonna come on faster. So you just have to know that comes with it. Now, still on that muscle gain side, you can eat at a slight calorie surplus, which means you're going to have slight and slow muscle gains, but simultaneously you're gonna have just a little bit of a gain of fat. So you'll notice bodybuilders in the off season, they lean out for competition season, they do their cutting and they're all lean and they're shredded. And then in off season, the ones that really wanna pack on the most muscle, you'll notice they also pack on fat. Like, you'll see them in the off season and you'll think, oh my gosh, they kind of let their body go. But the reality is they didn't let their body go. They just know they only have a small window of time to pack on the most muscle possible. So they eat at a very aggressive calorie surplus. They're eating plenty of protein and they are lifting their butts off, or their butts on. Really, they are lifting their butts and their shoulders and their biceps and any other body part they want to build. They are lifting that body part so dang hard. They're building up, and then in the on season, in the cutting season, they're gonna start dwindling down. So calorie surplus. Now, if you don't know what a surplus is, if we know that your body is burning 2,000 calories a day, say your resting metabolic rate is 1,500 calories a day, you can find the calculator online. I'll try and put one in this blog article. Say you also know that you are burning about 500 calories throughout the day moving. Chances are you're burning more, but whatever, let's just say 500. That means your body at rest, or not at rest, your body every day is burning 2,000 calories. A surplus is anything above that 2,000 calorie mark. So for me, I'm constantly eating at a surplus when I'm trying to build muscle mass. I eat between 2,200 calories and 2,700 calories, which kind of is, it's aggressive some days, but then it's not so aggressive others. It's aggressive some, not so aggressive others. That's why I love carb cycling and calorie cycling. Now, that whole process requires patience. The smaller the calorie surplus, the more patience is required because the muscle's going to go on a lot slower. The greater the calorie surplus, as long as you're lifting your butt on, that muscle mass is going to come on a lot quicker. Still, it requires patience, but then also you have to expect that there is going to be fat that's gonna come on equally as fast. Now let's jump over to the weight loss program, or the fat burning, weight loss, whatever we want to say, to that side. Like I said, requires sufficient protein, requires consistent exercise. You actually don't have to exercise if you're eating really consistent. And then it also requires patience. Now, Chris and I have said this so many times, you can Google 1 million ways to lose weight. Like 1.5 million ways, and 9 out of 10 of them, maybe 99 out of 100, are actually going to work if you can sustain it, if you can stick to it. But the question is, what is a program that you can stick to forever? We want a program that doesn't feel like a diet. We want a program that feels like a lifestyle. Same there. So you can crash diet and that weight can come off really quickly. With that, you're also going to burn some muscle. Or you can diet in a way, or eat in a way where your diet doesn't feel like a diet. You might be having indulgences here and there. You might be adding in a reward meal, whatever it is. You might just not be at as much of a deficit as some other diets might have you at, but that weight loss might last, and probably will last, a lot longer. Regardless, both of those plans are going to require patience. Now let's talk about, you hear the word or the words calorie deficit quite a bit. So we just talked about a surplus when we were talking about building muscle. Now let's talk about a calorie deficit. A deficit is what happens, or what you put your body at in order to lose weight. So if you know your body burns that 2,000 calories a day, like we talked about, and we put you at, say we feed you 1,500 or even 1,750 calories a day. So 1,750 calories a day creates a deficit of 250 calories. 250 calories times 14 days is roughly 3,500 calories that you are burning in a 2-week period of time. So you can expect at that rate, your body would burn 1 pound of fat every 2 weeks. Now you can be a little more aggressive, like we said, and you can go at a 500 calorie deficit. So you're eating 1,500 calories every day. 500 calorie deficit each day, multiply that by 7 days of the week, and that's 3,500 calories you are burning in 1 week. And if you don't know this, 3,500 calories is the equivalent to 1 pound of fat. So you will have burned 1 pound of fat at the end of that week. So again, those are the two journeys, right? Now the question at hand is people saying, I had to lay that out so you kind of understood what they each were, but the question that you guys all have, and the reason you're probably here, is wanting to know, what if I want to lose weight while simultaneously building muscle? Well, what that is, and I shouldn't even say lose weight, what if you're wanting to burn fat while simultaneously building muscle? If there's any kind of a muscle build going on while you're burning fat, I'm gonna suggest one big thing, and that is that you get rid of the scale. Or if you're going to use the scale, use it just to tell your body what's actually going, or to tell your mind what's actually happening with your body. Don't use it to dictate how you eat and what you eat, because it's going to be very different. Muscle, as you gain muscle mass, your weight, that muscle mass is dense, and that fat, as you're losing it, it's gonna be really hard to tell by the number on the scale what's happening. What is going to be very, very telling in this case, how your clothes fit, how you feel, and progress pics. So these are 3 very important non-scale victories. Also measurements, saying your biceps, your triceps, your waist, your thighs, your butt, your neck, depending on what areas of your body you are measuring. Those measurements, those non-scale victories, are also going to be very important. So understand this, when you are trying to burn fat and you are trying to gain muscle, this is what we call body recompositioning. Now, body recompositioning requires a lot of patience. A lot of patience, and even more, like I said before, trusting the process. Now, I highly recommend, if this is your goal, if you're not just trying to build muscle, if you're not just trying to lose weight, if you're trying to do in the middle, I highly recommend you actually eat at maintenance calories. Maintenance calories. You don't want to eat too many calories. You don't want to eat too few calories. You want to eat calories to maintain your body weight. So when you go to the gym, when you're lifting those weights, your body actually has something to create muscle mass with, because guys, you cannot create something from nothing. You just can't. And I used to be one of those girls. I would go into the gym and I'd be like, gosh, I really want to build some muscle mass, but I really don't want the muscle or the food to go to the wrong area, so I'm not going to eat a lot. I'm just going to lift really hard. I never gained the muscle mass. I never did, and I always wanted to, but the thing is, I just was ignoring the fact, something that I knew deep in my soul, you can't create something from nothing. So you do have to eat at maintenance calories. If you are following the app, chances are you're probably following, and if you're not, these are the programs I would recommend. Women's Physique program or the at-home body sculpting program. Those two programs are actually created for hypertrophy training. Like, it is hypertrophy training. We are going to tear down the muscle so it can build back up. So you're gonna wanna follow one of those two programs. When you're there, it's gonna give you the option. It's gonna say, okay, what nutrition plan do you wanna follow? Do you wanna build muscle? Do you wanna maintain your weight? Do you want to lean and shred? At this point, if you're trying to burn fat while building muscle, you're gonna choose maintenance. Do not choose muscle build. Do not choose lean and shred. Choose maintenance. From there, you're gonna trust the process. If you don't feel like you are experiencing gains like you want, or if you think you're actually losing weight too fast, bump it up to the muscle gain program. Once you're on the muscle gain program, I can assure you, you're gonna start building that mass. If it's too aggressive at any point in time, you can go down to the maintenance plan. Now, once you feel like you are at a point where you have the muscle mass that you want, at that point, go ahead and drop to the lean and shred to start leaning out just a little bit. Lean out. When you get to a point, if you feel like you are ready for your own off season, like your muscles aren't growing, like maybe they're shrinking a little, go back up to maintenance. You guys, that's what's so amazing about the human body. It is literally a blank canvas, or it's a ball of clay, and we get to mold it however we want. We have the tools. We get to sculpt what we want our bodies to look like. And if we don't like what we're doing, if you go 2 weeks, 2 months into something and you don't like what's happening with your sculpture, your mold that's going on, or your ball of clay or your canvas, guess what? You can start going in the other direction. You can add clay to it. You can remove clay. You can re-sculpt and make your body exactly what you need. And that, you guys, is why I am here. That's why Chris is here. That is the exact reason right there why we created the Transform app. That's why we have our coaching program. I'm not trying to sell any of this on you. I honestly am just trying to answer some questions, but really this is why we do what we do. And this is why I'm doing this video for you right now. So I hope this answers your question. Takeaways today, no matter what program you're doing, eat your protein, eat enough food, even if you're losing weight, train hard, and be patient. Be patient. Number 4, out of 5. Number 5, trust the dang process. All right, guys, I hope this helps. If you have any more questions, please ask them below. I will be back. I love you all. Tell me what you want to hear. I'll be back, guys. Bye.